We finally got some decent weapons for this week's reset in Far Cry 6. Yes, 3 whole black market weapons are now released at Lola's shop that you can go ahead and buy. All pretty strong. We finally got a custom AK-47 variant, a pretty strong LMG, and all awaited, well, compound bow custom variant too, because we've been lacking those for quite a long time. And it still leaves us the option for that weekly Insurgency reward, which is also not that bad. But are these all worth it? We're gonna talk about that in this video, and also a recent bundle that Ubisoft has released, of course also Netflix related, so let's check that in this video. Let's begin with the custom AK-47. Yes, Ubisoft finally gave us a 4-star option of this gun, which was pretty okay for a 1-star in the default game, but now you have all of the bells and whistles and attachments you can apply to it. Between all of the overclock mods and MK2 ones, you can reach some pretty high damage on it, on par with some of the other custom assault rifles that Ubisoft released in the past few months. As a matter of fact, it's a pretty good one. You can reach some pretty good results with an AK-47 still, even from quite far away, though probably not on the level of an AS-VAL or an SSG-P58, also custom variant. So you're gonna have quite a bit of weapon sway and recoil, meaning that from further away you will have to compensate quite a bit, which is why I suggest using maybe a burst fire mode or a single shot to compensate for that, because it can work from far away too. But mostly because of the spray with the gun, you're gonna use it from middle range, and you can take down whole groups of enemies because of this. Otherwise, yeah, hip fire mode is pretty great. You have a mod in there that reduces some of the just spread of it when applying it to the gun, and this will make it much easier for you to just take down enemies really quickly. Also, you get the full range of attachments and mods, meaning that you can apply everything you need to a assault rifle like this. So everything from the armor piercing rounds to a scope to a silencer, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Now the next one is going to be a light machine gun, the tactical, which is also part of the set with the same name. And if you go over at Lola right now, you can pretty much purchase the entire bundle, as she also features the entire gear set. Not that you will need it for any of its perks, maybe for the looks, cause yeah, otherwise it's not really useful for any end game build. Now the weapon is pretty respectable in most of the areas. It has on a lower magazine size, so only 80, meaning that if you're going against choppers with explosive rounds, you will need about 1 magazine and a half to take it down. Meanwhile, something like a custom RPD from a few weeks back didn't have this problem because it had a rather large magazine of 100 with only a minimal difference in rate of fire of about 50 RPM compared to this, so it was more than capable of just taking down any chopper or any vehicle except tanks in less than 1 magazine. In this case, I would probably recommend just playing with this gun as usual against human enemies, so attaching something like armor piercing rounds, a silencer, a regular old scope, and between this, the overclock and the MK2 gut wrencher and trigger discipline, you're gonna have enough damage to take down all foes in the game. And with a respectable level of accuracy on the gun, this means you can pretty much aim for the headshots from pretty far away with not much difficulty. Of course, it's still an LMG, so you're gonna have a pretty long reload animation, but not that long compared to some of the other LMGs right now in the game. And you can also probably run with a few mods in there that might reduce the downtime when you're reloading some of these guns. This brings us to one of the last black market weapons on the list. Not the last one in today's video though, because we still have, yeah, that unique one at the end of the Insurgency, but we also finally got a custom 4-star compound bow, and yes, you get a full range of attachments and mods here that you can go ahead and apply, including some of the MK2 ones that increase damage, though no gut wrencher and no trigger discipline, obviously, since this is mostly for ARs, but you do get some other options in there that might increase your damage, that, you know, might give you the option to just reload this way faster and get a next arrow much faster, or just, you know, move faster in general with the bow out. But otherwise, it's pretty good because, you know, it's a 4 stars, so we didn't have too many options in this category. You can pretty much attach almost any type of arrow to it, and it's still gonna be useful. If you want to go against regular sized enemies, just slap something like a precision arrow and boom, you can go ahead and now pierce armor. Or if you want to take down enemies in more interesting ways, you can go with some explosive arrows. It's much more fun, and if enemies group together, you can take down multiple at the same time. Probably not one shot unless you're making a build around explosion, but still pretty decent, and you can still take down normal vehicles. For tanks and helicopters, obviously you would go with the EMP, so you have quite a bit of versatility with this weapon right here. That's why I really like that they finally implemented a custom variant of the bow. And this finally brings us to this week's unique weapon, and of course the reward from the weekly Insurgency, which unfortunately again not moddable, but it's pretty respectable in terms of damage. So the firecracker rocket launcher comes in with a full damage bar, a pretty interesting, yeah, magazine size of only 4, but it's still quite useful. Now its only couple of perks that it features are the nimble shooter, which improves movement speed while aiming, and also the high ground, which improves weapon damage to enemies below you. So yeah, it's just a slightly more improved La Guaracha. Like literally it has the exact same stats with the exception of maybe a bit more into stealth and handling, but that is kind of it, which also means that it's completely lacking any auto tracking, which would have been definitely very useful against some of the choppers or other moving targets in the game. This means that you kind of have to do a lot of anticipating of where the target will land next or head next, and it's kind of sucky because you have into orbit, which is much better, and you also have the auto tracking. It still deals the exact same damage, and it's probably a little bit better than that. Or maybe go with straight up a grenade launcher and just do a lot more damage and have a lot more versatility with these types of weapons. Now of course this is kind of it with everything that Ubisoft is offering to us for free this week. There's also a brand new bundle in the paid shop. Now I'm not sure if there's any deal between Netflix and Ubisoft to feature these, because for at least a few weeks now they keep featuring all these types of bundles related to all sorts of Netflix current and past series, and not just in Far Cry 6 and multiple of their games. So previously we had the Breaking Bad related sets or bundles that were released in the past few weeks still available in the bundles shop, but now they have the La Casa del Papel, which is another series that I believe is now running on Netflix. Don't know, I haven't watched it, but I don't really recommend spending any money on these, not when they eventually do get released on the black market shop anyway, like how the Tactical set, which again was a full priced bundle a few months ago, has now been released in the black market shop over at Lola anyway. So just wait a few weeks, a few months, and eventually they do make their way in the black market shop. This is it though for now. Totally let me know down below in the comments which one of these weapons was your favorite, or do you still hate Ubisoft's way of releasing weekly content. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.